It's official, Avengers Doomsday Reshoots are about to begin, and this is a good thing. I know sometimes when you hear reshoots, some people might think that it's bad because maybe they're going back and fixing something or maybe they've changed the script, but for Avengers Doomsday, they've had this planned for a very long time. So this is a good thing, and this also enables more characters and actors really to come and be a part of Avengers Doomsday. So this is a great thing. We're going to break it all down, how we know it's beginning. We also have a new report to go over for Avengers Doomsday that talks about a sidekick or a right-hand man of Doctor Doom who we do believe is going to be Doctor Strange. Yes, Doctor Strange will go against the Avengers and Avengers Doomsday, but if you've been following the channel, that's what we've been expecting for a while now. So maybe it doesn't come as a huge surprise to you. What is going on, Cosmic Crew? Thanks for stopping by the channel today. The first thing we got to talk about is Avengers Doomsday going back to do reshoots. Again, this is a good thing, and this has just been confirmed by David Arbor, Red Guardian. He's also in Stranger Things, and I mentioned that because he talks about Stranger Things 5. No spoilers, don't worry if you haven't caught up yet. If you haven't seen the finale of Stranger Things 5, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but he does do a little bit of a comparison to Stranger Things 5 when he was talking on the carpet. He was speaking to E.T., or I'm sorry, he was speaking to Extra TV. And basically all the reports online right now say David Arbor reveals that reshoots for Avengers Doomsday will begin in a few weeks, and that is what he said. So in just a few weeks, they're going back to the studio and they're going to reshoot some scenes that they've already done, shoot additional scenes. But the biggest thing about this is that it is probably going to be, for the most part, a lot of actors who could not be scheduled to come in and shoot scenes before, coming in to shoot those scenes. So this is why you've actually heard some of the insiders state, oh, so far, those are the two keywords right there. So far, Storm's not in the movie, Jean Grey's not in the movie, Iceman, things like that, because Marvel Studios had planned these reshoots way in advance. Because if you think about the cast, it's insane. There's an insane amount of people in this cast, and they haven't revealed the entire cast yet. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige confirmed that. Robert Downey Jr. confirmed that. I mean, they told us a ton of people who were going to be in the movie, but then they told us that there was more to come. So this scheduled, again, this was planned, reshoot window is for those actors to come in and shoot those scenes. And then it's also for any actual reshoots that they need to do. Maybe they want to get a scene more tight. Maybe the Russos thought of something that would work a little bit better, so they're going to do a different scene. But sometimes when we hear reshoots, we think bad. Oh no, they changed some stuff and they're scrambling. No, that is not what it is. And keep in mind, we're still 8 months away from the movie. We're still a very long way away from the movie. So reshoots now, having 6 months to do that with all the visual effects and everything like that, we're still in really good shape, and this is a really good thing. This is specifically what David Arbor confirmed when he was talking with Extra TV. He stated, the movie is huge. I thought that Stranger Things 5 was big, but this is kind of the biggest thing I've ever done. So I'm not sure if you've seen Stranger Things 5, not sure what you've thought of that, but to me, I just kind of thought, well, yeah, no duh. Like, yeah, this is an Avengers movie, and sure, Stranger Things 5 was built up to be a really big finale. To me, it was a little underwhelming, but I obviously knew that Avengers Doomsday was going to be bigger than Stranger Things 5, but for him, it's obviously an insanely huge deal and everybody involved. So that's good to know that they're going all out. He also confirmed that the reshoots do take place in London in a few weeks, and he said this: we've got a little more shooting left on this Avengers movie. They have a couple more days that they want to do. I'm assuming he's specifically talking about him, right? So him and the Thunderbolts and them interacting with the Avengers. His specific part, they have a couple more days they want to do with him. Other people, it might take a week. It might take 2 weeks. We don't know. But for him specifically, I think he's talking about a couple of days. He also said this about Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom: I'm really excited for the fans to see what Downey's doing. I think he's really special. Now, obviously, if you're a part of this movie, you're not going to say anything bad about this movie. I totally get that. But I do think, based on specific things that other people have said, and David Arbor here as well, I do think Robert Downey Jr. has done something pretty special for Doctor Doom, especially because we've seen online, Instagram posts and things like that, how much he's really diving into the character and how much it is seemingly going to have a connection to Iron Man, because Robert Downey Jr. has posted a lot of things with Doom and Iron Man, implying that there is a pretty big connection there. The Russo brothers have also done the same, posting things about Doom and Iron Man. So there is going to be a pretty big connection here. Recent reports tell us that we won't really find that out in Avengers Doomsday, but we will in Avengers Secret Wars. Seems like a long time to wait, but if it works for the story, it works for the story. He also did say this: I'm building sort of a brotherhood with my boys, the Winter Soldier and also Wyatt Russell, who is U.S. Agent John Walker. And I like that bromance between the three of us. So expect some good things, expect some good chemistry, I would say, especially since The Thunderbolts was such a good movie. And this means that we could also probably get some news about Avengers Doomsday in a few weeks, because things leak. When people are on set, people talk, people see things, they tell other people, and eventually they get to insiders. And I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel Studios decides to leak some things on purpose, because I totally believe that they have leaked things on purpose so far. But go ahead, let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Now we'll move on to I'm going to just say Doctor Strange report, and you'll understand what I mean in a second. According to Daniel RBK, he states that Doctor Doom reportedly has a wizard as his second in command in Avengers Doomsday. The wizard also uses a sling ring. Doctor Strange, right? I mean, it's Doctor Strange. Could be Clea, but it's most likely Doctor Strange, because we have seen the leaked concept art for Avengers Secret Wars. It shows Doctor Strange by Doctor Doom's side, and Doom is sitting on that throne, so we know Doom wins. And it looks like Doctor Strange helps him win. Again, it could be Clea, but I don't think so. Given everything that we know, it should be Doctor Strange. Plus, also, not to mention, in Secret Wars in the comics and Time Runs Out, Doctor Strange is by Doctor Doom's side, and he is his right-hand man. He is Sheriff Strange. And even when the characters on the life rafts actually come back to life, like years after World has been established, since it's been created, the life raft people come out finally, and they figure out that Doctor Doom is ruling the entire thing, and he made it. Doctor Strange is telling them all of this. Everyone's kind of giving Doctor Strange crap, like, you just went along with all of this. Like, you know, it's funny how you don't even say he's good at it, blah, 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 but he is a god. And Doctor Strange is essentially like, no, he actually did a good job. He actually did save us. So Doctor Strange has conviction that what Doctor Doom did kind of was the right thing. And he even says, you see, he's really good at playing God. And I think we're going to see that happen. I think we're going to see that turn in Avengers Doomsday. And I think this is going to have to do with the post-credit scene for Multiverse of Madness. Let's not forget about that, because I still believe that that's going to be very important. And we have heard some reports about Strange and Clea. Benedict Cumberbatch has confirmed he's going to be in the movie. After saying he wasn't, he then came back around and said, oh, I was confused or mistaken. I am going to be in the movie. Of course he is. They set that up in a pretty big way. I actually think that Clea works for Doctor Doom. That was kind of been my theory since they announced Doom, that Clea works for Doctor Doom. She could be a Black Swan. I think that would make a lot of sense. Of course, she is Clea, but I still think she could be a part of the Black Swans. She takes Doctor Strange to Doctor Doom, and Doctor Doom explains everything. And since they were supposed to lean very heavily in Doctor Strange 3 into the whole plot that they briefly teased in Multiverse of Madness, that Doctor Strange is the biggest threat to the multiverse, I think Doctor Strange is going to realize that he hasn't necessarily been a villain, but he has been causing a lot of chaos and destruction in the multiverse, which is why Clea showed up at the end and said, Doctor Strange, you caused an incursion. You're going to help me fix it. I don't think that was actually the intention. Maybe a little bit, but I think that is actually her trying to get him to go to Doctor Doom. Kind of a trick, but also kind of not a trick, because it's like John Krasinski's Reed Richards said, the biggest threat to the multiverse is you. Him and his variants across the multiverse cause incursions, which obviously destroy trillions of people. And so that's kind of what I believe. That's why I believe Clea is taking him to Doctor Strange, That is why I believe Clea is taking Doctor Strange to Doctor Doom. There's a lot of doctors in here. Because Doom, I believe, at first, I want to specify that, at first, I do believe Doctor Doom is looking to try and save the multiverse, but I eventually think we get to a point to where he realizes, much like in the comics, that it can't be saved. That's literally what happens. Him and Molecule Man try to actually save the multiverse. Eventually, they realize that it can't be done, so at the very end, and Strange joins them right at the very end, he saves one thing, which is Battleworld, which is a combination of about 40 different universes. So a lot of variants we're going to see, hopefully in Avengers Doomsday, and of course in Avengers Secret Wars. But I think his wizard, that is second in command, that also uses a sling ring, is totally Doctor Strange, because ultimately I do think that Doctor Strange joins him. We've also heard a report not too long ago that states Doctor Strange does join Doctor Doom, not because he wants to fight the Avengers, not because he wants to go up against them in any way, shape, or form, but he does believe that, much like in Avengers Infinity War, there's only one way. And I ultimately think that Doom and Clea probably convince him it's too late now. Yes, you, Doctor Strange, have caused incursions. Yes, your variants have caused incursions, but also this Captain America has caused an incursion. This Spider-Man guy has caused an incursion. A lot of these heroes have done stuff that have caused incursions and ultimately will lead to the destruction of the multiverse, which is why Doom is going against them. I think that's going to be his reasoning to Doctor Strange, but he'll tell him, with your help, with your magical capabilities, we can save the multiverse. We can at least save one universe, and we can combine several universes into one, and we can live there instead of everything being destroyed. And that's where I think Doctor Strange turns. Now, I'm not sure if Doctor Doom's going to tell him that he wants to rule that universe, that he's going to be the god of it, the god emperor of it. But considering Doctor Doom is probably the one who creates it, yeah, it would make sense. But he doesn't know Doctor Doom too well at first. In the comics, he does. There's a lot of backstory with Doom and the Avengers and everybody in the comics. This is brand new. He's going to meet, unless they're going to do like a time jump, unless they say at the end of Multiverse of Madness, years go by and he's known Doom for a while, which I don't think they're going to do for continuity purposes. But he's not going to know who Doctor Doom really is. So it's going to be pretty easy for Doctor Doom to convince him that he is a good guy and not in it for ulterior motives. But it's Doctor Doom. We know he is. Although, again, I do believe he's trying to save it at first, but I think when we get to Doomsday, he's kind of past that. I think we're going to do flashbacks to him trying to save it and then realizing it can't be saved. So he tries to trick the Avengers, right? And then eventually turns on them. And unfortunately, Strange is going to be a part of that turn. He'll go against the Avengers. So this is really not that unexpected. We totally expected this. I've seen the leaked concept art. I'm pretty sure you all have as well. So this is just another thing pointing towards that. But it looks like his role with Doom is going to be a lot more important than we thought. Probably in Avengers Doomsday, we see more of this than we thought. We knew we were going to see it in Avengers Secret Wars, but it looks like this will be not one of the main themes, but definitely a big plot point of Avengers Doomsday. So go ahead and let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Avengers Doomsday and Marvel news. And you can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.